Can gamers build a society? We'll find out in Amazon's New World. Now, they're supposedly going to be able to be 1,000 people old school MMO style. We're going way, way back to the way back time machine of Ultima Online with the amounts of people that will be able to log into this game. Made me a little bit happy. But there is an aspect of this game that I want to talk about, and that was PvP. Before we get into this, which I'm excited about, don't get me wrong, I'm excited about this title. I'm excited about this title because you've got a backer that has billions of dollars. You got Bezos money. You got a release date of May 2020. You got Lumberyard as an engine. We all know how that looks, a version of it through Star Engine on Star Citizen. We all know how it's going to look. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. For those of you that watched last Saturday when I released this video, you saw the graphics. You saw me get a little bit excited in my no-no spot. And I said, maybe this is something I'm going to get into. Maybe this is something that is interesting. It's obviously interesting, but then I got comments in the video that said, DG, did you miss the update? Did you miss them talking about how they're literally throwing PvP out the window? And I was like, what? Why didn't I not hear this? In fact, the day I released the video, the news had come out from their YouTube page. And I want to watch that video with you guys right now. And I'm going to react to it. First time watching it. I've been saving this for you guys. There might be rage uncontrollable on this video. And I apologize to people who are into the PvE. I'm going to apologize ahead of time to people that think I'm going to get a little too upset on a video like this. But let us watch. 7 minutes. This could be torture. This could be the most torturous video of all time. Cover your eyes.
We've been getting a lot of great questions across social media, Reddit, the forums, about how New World...
And they've been getting a lot of people complaining about the PvP, apparently. Oh, an influx of people that can't handle PvP. And so we're going to scrap it. Nope, I have not seen it yet. Still 7 minutes and 44 seconds left of this video, and already 11 seconds into this video, and my rant has already started. Hold on, nope. Monk mode it. Monk mode engaged. We're gonna calm down.
Has evolved over the past several months. We had our big announcement at the Game Awards, and people have been asking us a lot of questions on how PvE, PvP works. Can you tell us a little bit about how New World has brought more PvE elements into the game?
Let me start with the previous alpha. When we were live, we watched players play, we played with players, and we learned a whole bunch. One of the things that we noticed was players were engaging in PvP, but a lot more players wanted more PvE content. They wanted more things they could solo.
This is the world that we are in. I am so sorry to my PvE audience. I don't want to lump you into a generalized category because some of you just generally enjoy that kind of gameplay, and I get it. But I think there's a lot of people out there that don't even understand true PvP, that haven't even touched it, and that are just regarding it as griefing. This gentleman is saying that there is an abundance of PvE out there, and he's right. I've seen it in every title. I've seen it spread like a virus. I've seen it gone coronavirus mode. And it's gonna spread, people. And it scares me. Makes me think that we're not able to handle our PvP anymore. It makes me think that people don't even want to touch it. This is what this guy is saying. He saw a lot of comments where people didn't like the PvP. Oh, we're just going to focus on PvE now. Hold on. There's 7 minutes and 11 seconds of this video left, DG. Settle it down.
They wanted the ability to be directed through the world. They wanted more enemies.
Verp! Do not direct me, Verp. Do not direct me sitting there in your seat. Oh no, you must sit in this seat to understand what I feel. You must feel the feelings that I feel. Do not make the mistake to direct me, Verb.
Enemies. Our big focus has been around appeasing those players, putting more POIs in the game, increasing the density of POIs, increasing the complexity, putting more curation into the world. So as you're moving through the world, the world difficulty grows, it ramps up accordingly to where you are. And along with that comes the loot that you get. We've added a lot more loot that gets better as you fight harder enemies. So altogether, the game's going to feel a little more balanced between the PvP and PvE, probably leaning with a little bit more PvE focus.
So during the alpha, there was a heavy emphasis on the PvP side of the game. Players are concerned that some of that might be going away. What about PvP has changed in New World?
Our initial vision was a full PvP session, but we were trying to...
Yes, a full PvP session, the kind of full PvP session that you could imagine under the covers with your significant other. A full PvP session, unadulterated, no limits.
Come up with ways to make it so that experienced high-level players wouldn't just PK, cheap kill like new players, so they wouldn't go attack wounded players. And everything we tried just kind of felt like a Band-Aid and didn't really solve the problem. So what we're thinking about now is giving both players that experience so everyone can come to a tournament and have a good time.
Okay, but how are you proposing it? It sounds like a cock block to me, sir. It sounds like a direct cock block to me. Let's see how they've mitigated their PvP limitation damage as such.
So we put an opt-in system. We've added factions to the game, so you'll join a faction. And when you hit a certain level, you're allowed to opt into PvP. Anyone who opts in can engage in open world PvP. This also leads to wars, which is where PvP was its most fun in the last alpha.
The slider has never worked. Can we just all agree on that right now? Let us just talk, both as PvPers and PvEers. Can we come to a mutual agreement? Can we just meet and shake each other's hands across the ironclad table? Can we come to an agreement? PvPers and PvEers can unite, I think, on one simplistic fact, that the slider idea design has never, ever worked. Name me a title where that's worked.
And we've put a lot of work into making war more fun. We've added siege weapons.
All right. They are Amazon. I'm going to give them a little benefit of the doubt. We're talking Bezos money. Perhaps the first slider that will ever work in any game will be New World. They've got the Bezos money. Is the slider going to work for the first time in gaming history? Probably not, but we're talking Bezos money. Billions for the slider. Do I hear billions for the slider?
More defense. We've added more stages to the war. When you start to play this, you're going to see how this is how we really meant PvP to be.
Will it be possible to engage with New World and not touch PvP at all?
If you never want a PvP,
don't get me started here. I'm going to say something completely disrespectful to all PvEers. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Hold it back, DG. Hold it back.
You can absolutely avoid it. I believe that as players play through the PvE experience, they're going to eventually want to try it and get a taste for it when they get comfortable with the combat style and the gameplay. But it is absolutely a gameplay path that you can do it without ever playing in PvP.
So during the alpha, when players would come across another player, they would kill them, all your loot would drop. You would kind of go back to zero. What's the state of that in New World now?
So now for the open world opt-in PvP, the penalty is really time. The time it takes you to get back to where you were. We're not going to have you lose anything. We found that players...
There's no... What? What did I just hear? There's no consequence to it at all? There's nothing that happens? There's nothing that happens. Nothing. Something has to happen. You don't lose anything? What is this? Disneyland? Is this Disney World? Did I just take a ride on It's a Small World after all? Am I seeing teacups floating past me? What just happened?
Found that crushing to not only get beat up, but to drop everything they had on them was a bit much. So we've solved...
What kind of world are we living in, people? Kind of world are we living in, people?
And the blow on that, the player winning the war, or winning the battle with another player, will still get some rewards.
So there is incentive to flag yourself as PvP. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we haven't fully refined the system yet, but we are going to give you bonuses for being flagged for PvP. So you might get a little more experience, you might get slightly better rewards when you're flagged.
You are putting yourself up for some serious danger and excitement. If you're putting yourself up for PvP, there should be some serious rewards, not little bits. You're living on the edge. You're all about the danger.
All of this stuff is totally attainable while you're playing PvE, but it adds more risk being flagged for PvP, so we want to make sure you have more reward.
So we talk a lot about large-scale PvP. Is it going to be more of a instance scenario, or is there going to be large-scale PvP in the open world?
I think both are going to be options.
There's no fair in PvP, J-Dubs, and you know that, and that's why you said that. That's the beauty of it. There's no fair in PvP, player versus player. This is life, player versus player. This is life. This is what happens to you. Chaos happens to you, and I get it. Some people want to escape it. Some people don't want to deal with it. It's a game, man. I'm just chilling out. I'm just trying to relax. I don't want to have to deal with the harassment, but yet there has to be some happy median, and I'm not quite sure that this is it. From what I'm hearing, and I'm trying to settle down. I'm trying to relax, and I get it. And it's finding the balance. And usually the perfect way to do this is in games like EVE Online and what Star Citizen are trying to do by layering in a law system so that there are areas for PvEers and areas for PvPers. This kind of layered approach is what I would suggest to New World, to Amazon. Pick up this design. You got Lumberyard. We know that Cloud Imperium from Star Citizen, you know, they got the code, they got the Lumberyard agreement, and they upgraded and they've done their own work on that particular line of code, and they've got their issues with Crytek, and we all know what's going on there. But we understand that Star Citizen developed a really good way in which to kind of mitigate the damage from PvPers to PvEers and give PvPers what they want, and that's a law system. That's a layered type of law system. So that there's areas that are safe for PvEers and areas where PvPers can go abundantly crazy. And there's that middle ground where PvEers that want to have that danger can experience a taste of what it's like to live in that PvP world. This is the correct way to do things, Amazon. This is the correct way to do things, not a slider. Sliders do not properly give you the experiences where PvEers and PvPers can coexist. It is with a strict law system designed into the game. This makes me worried that this is the route right now.
War, I wouldn't say it's instance, but it's 50v50, and no one else can enter the war. So once you're in this area, we shield everyone else out. In the open world PvP, groups can absolutely form, and that could also end up being large scale. It just depends how organized people get.
It sounds like they're trying. It sounds like they may be trying. It sounds like they're still hashing it out. They got feedback. They got this huge wave of people that went, no PvP, no PvP. So they're reacting to that. And I think that the loudest voice isn't always the voice to listen to. And that's one thing that I want to get through to the designers and developers of games like these large open worlds, is just because it's the loudest voice doesn't mean it's always the right voice.
Still a criminal system in the game. In the original alpha, we had a criminal system that players could, they would get flagged as a criminal, and there are penalties to that. How does that work into the current version of PvP?
Because you're opt-in, we really know there's no need for the criminal system. Where everyone was getting attacked has made that decision to get there, so we've removed the criminal system completely.
So we've removed the criminal system completely.
So in New World, will there be PvE dungeons and raids and those types of things?
They're not going to be like you traditionally would expect, where you get teleported to one. There will be bosses in the world that require groups to work together to overcome, similar to like world bosses. We may end up growing down the path of adding dungeons and raids. We talk about it a lot. Our bigger goal is to get what we have in front of players and start to see what they want and where they push us and help us kind of take the direction.
Yeah, they're going to listen to the loudest voice. That's what's going on here. I wouldn't say that I'm in the minority of PvPers though, Jay. I mean, that's, again, I think there's a lot of PvPers out there that would agree with what I'm saying right now, but I could be. But yeah, squeaky wheel gets the grease, J-Dubs. Absolutely. And like I said, a good game can be crafted so that there is a good balance of PvP and PvE, and that they blend together. A fabric, if you will. Knitting, the perfect quilt, if you will. The best design systems have a layered law system that allows people to PvE in areas without being harassed, that allow people to PvP in areas where it's lawless, and that mix in the middle. that mix in the middle is where the magic happens. The mix in the middle, that area where PvEers come on over to the PvP side, the PvPers come on over to the PvE side, that's where the magic happens. That's where PvEers go, maybe I like PvP. And that's where PvPers go, hey, maybe I want to do a little PvE. Maybe I want to do a little co-op over here. You know, that's that magical union. That's that blissful union right there where PvPers and PvEers take each other and they caress one another, they gently kiss one another, and they say, I love you. I love you.
Direction.
During the alpha, we had a lot of issues with high-level players going down and killing new players who had no experience and no opportunities to explore what New World had to offer. What steps did we take to address that?
Well, the opt-in PvP system is a huge step toward that. You have to be in a faction to opt into PvP, and you have to be level 10 to join a faction. So the earliest you could ever even contemplate PvP is level 10. And I think most players will want to wait just a little beyond that and get a little stronger foothold on how the combat and the gameplay works. There is no scenario where, as a new player, you wake up on the beach and have a spear get jammed in your throat. That won't happen.
One of the
And that's fine. There should be starting areas. And I, as a PvPer, completely agree with that. There should be starting areas that are completely safe from PvP. Absolutely. As a PvPer, absolutely agree that there should be areas where no one can get touched as they're getting acclimated to the game, and that at a certain level, level 10, boom, you get introduced to PvP. I don't see this as a huge negative so far. I see the reaction to this being completely like, oh my God, but the more I'm watching this and talking it out with you guys, I think eventually that they will tailor it so that it is a good experience for all involved. And why wouldn't they want that? Let's think about this. Amazon getting into the gaming genre is comparable to Jupiter coming into orbit with Earth and Mars. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about like all these AAA game producers and publishers out there are nothing, infinitesimally small compared to Amazon and Bezos' money. The game genre world should quake with fear when they realize that Amazon is going full frontal into the gaming industry. We have Bezos money backing this. They're going to make sure that they're catering to all people. And initially this might sound bad, but I think what you'll see happening is that they will tailor it to bring in as much money as they can. They are not stupid. The studio behind them that you can see is rather large, well equipped. You can see that the people here have taken their time to talk. I've watched all these dev videos except for this one. These devs, the artistry is off the chain. I mean, it literally looks like Star Citizen if it were Lord of the Rings. It's like taking Star Citizen and converting it to a medieval type game. And you got Bezos money behind it. Amazon coming into the gaming genre, other companies should be knocking their knees together in fear. They're going to dominate. And they're bringing this title called New World, the irony of the title of this game, because New World is going to be exactly where all these game publishers are going to, these game publishers, the designers, these companies they're putting out titles like Cyberpunk, they better quake in their boots. Because Amazon coming is knocking at the door. They're like, hello, we're getting in the gaming space. And since we're getting in the gaming space, we might as well call it New World, because it's going to be a completely new world. And is Amazon just going to completely dominate everything? Is Amazon the ultimate form of a monopoly that has ever existed on the planet? I feel like they're going to groceries. They start off as selling books, and now they're in groceries and consumer electronics, videos, media, gaming. Like there's no end to Amazon here, and the Bezos money is ridiculous. And people better just watch out, because they're gonna triumph all over. There's bop. They're gonna make every single gaming company they're gonna flatten them. They're gonna flatten them. So I'm not gonna watch the rest of this. That's my viewpoints. I don't think it's necessarily hugely bad for the game. I'm still gonna get involved. I have to look at the TOS this week or into next week. I'm gonna look at how to get involved in the beta. I'm probably gonna be putting this on the channel as long as their TOS isn't like a dual universe TOS. And I would love to put some of the content on the channel for you guys because I want you to see Lumberyard at its finest. I want you guys to look at the Lumberyard engine. I want you guys to see the graphics. I want you to see what this game's capable of, and having 1,000 players online and having a shared experience. Let's read this real quick here and talk about what they're saying in this article, because when they said, can gamers build a society, that piqued my interest right there. So let's look at this real quick. Amazon is working on a massively multiplayer game called New World, but it's not the World of Warcraft clone. You suspect it's a different beast entirely. The game's wholly originally world mashes medieval, enlightenment, and early industrial themes with a wild frontier. Players set out to conquer this world alone or together, gathering resources and building small societies. I like that. Got a little economy, got a little industry going on there. I'm not quite sure how in depth it gets, but I'm liking that kind of generalized concept. New World uses Amazon's cloud tech as a backbone on which to build the world, making it possible for hundreds, even thousands of players to coexist. I'm not quite sure how great that technology is, how great the cloud tech is with Amazon. If you're going to have latency issues, I'm sure there's going to be issues as this is, initial concept moving forward. I think that's why you're seeing the beta test to see how many people they can actually handle. So it says, making it possible for hundreds, even thousands of players to coexist at once. We spoke with 3 of the game's developers about why Amazon has backed a game that's different from mainstream competitors and how the cloud will be used to expand its scale beyond anything seen before, which it will. Perhaps it would be nice if Cloud Imperium spoke with Amazon and could get through the hurdles with server meshing and the issues that they're going through to get more players in Star Citizen. Anyway, that's a side point. Matthew S. Smith, senior editor, Digital Trends. Just looking at a screenshot of New World makes it clear it's different from mainstream online games. It's a bold direction for a flagship game from Amazon's new gaming venture. Did the game's core idea come about before Amazon's involvement or after? Patrick Gilmore, studio director, Amazon Game Studios, Orange County. New World has been created wholly internally to Amazon. Oh, watch out. You can hear... As a studio, we had been discussing the idea of an open-ended survival sandbox game. We love the thematic ideas of a newly discovered world, crude technology that might advance and mature over time, and the role that faith and superstition play in establishing an enduring settlement. I love this idea, this Azoth. This is this magical component to the world that they're adding that can be used for good or can be used for bad. We talked about it on the last video. Perhaps I'll put a link to that so that you guys can watch. The lore behind the game is really cool. More than anything, we love the idea of a frontier, a sort of boundary between the known and unknown, implying there would always be something new to discover. From what we had talked about last Saturday, it sounds as if the AI is going to be very actively engaged with the surrounding player population, which means that the AI will respond aggressively and come out to attack you. That is different. I like it. I hope it's as cool as the developer who is talking about it made it out to be. I'm not quite sure until I get involved into the game. The back end is the glue that holds the experience together. None of it would be possible without the work our team did to leverage Amazon's cloud. And they're talking about the amount of people that can play the game and share the experience. When we shared the original idea internally, the main question that came up had to do with scale. What if it's not a game made up of small raiding parties of 5 or 6, but whole armies? Yes, I'm liking the sound of this. However, with what we just learned, I can see why people were upset. You see, like the PvP populations kind of would get upset because they're wondering if they're going to get limited out, if they're going to get factored out with being able to battle one another's societies mano a mano. So perhaps that's why there's a lot of PvPers who are upset. What if it's more about building up, not just scraping by? These two concepts, a new world of superstition and discovery match with new experiences that spring from enormous scale, drove our thinking. New World aims to have a huge map with hundreds, perhaps over 1,000 players populating it at once. Is that something that would be possible without the help of Amazon server tech? And Gilmore says to host Eternum, which is the name of the world, we created new backend technology that scales a single game simulation over multiple hubs in AWS cloud. The back end is the glue that holds the experience together. None of it would be possible without the work our team did to leverage Amazon's cloud. So they're really pushing this Amazon Cloud AWS feature, and it's going to make it possible to experience the level of, here it comes, fidelity that Star Citizen can in a medieval type world. That sounds really interesting to me. Regardless of the news about the PvP, I still want to dip a toe in. I still want to see what this game's about. Rich Lawrence, executive producer of New World, says it's certainly possible to build multi-host backends with a variety of approaches, so we don't lay claim to that exclusively. But AWS is a great enabling environment for development. Hosts are available with push of a button. Deployment and monitoring are supplied by default. It's less to worry about up front, and the assurance of the hardware skill is always there when you need it. If our team suddenly needs 10 server sets for a test instead of 1, that's just a configuration issue. That's because they got that Bezos money. Bezos money. Bezos money. That's because they got that Bezos money. Bezos money. I'm gonna make a rap song because there is no problem. You understand? And Amazon coming into this gaming genre like this, gonna knock the hinges off every single door that's in their way. Cause that Bezos money, that Bezos money. Many MMOs and online games from World of Warcraft to Destiny frequently separate players into instances to keep player counts low. What made Amazon Game Studio decide on a different direction? This is a pretty good article. Props to the journalist for this. Gilmore says, we think large-scale world simulations are an inevitable evolution of game technology. We don't see it as an either-or situation, since even in the context of massively shared space like New World, players will organize into smaller groups based upon play style, ease of communication, and availability. Again, that is under question right now. I guess we'll see. We'll see it. We'll see it evolve. It'll evolve. I don't think they're going to completely screw over PvPers. I really don't. I think initially they listened to the squeaky wheel, as J-Dub said earlier. We refer to New World as a sandbox MMO to distinguish between a player experience that's more driven by scripted or crafted content. But by breaking down those limitations, we hope to present a host of new kinds of gameplay and radically expand the kinds of relationships that emerge among players, from traditional competitive PvP all the way through the formation of in-game societies. I would echo it isn't an either or thing. Instances can be valuable to specific kinds of gameplay. We wanted large battles in the field of being in this constantly evolving society that's facilitated. This is like, the more I read this, it's very general. Like the answers here are completely general. I'm going to want to just dive into this game, and I want to feel it. I want to see exactly how you build this society. I want to see how deep the economic gameplay is. Are we going to be able to actually carve out a piece of land for ourselves? It sounds from this article, generally speaking, that we will. I do want to see the actual gameplay that gives us these societies before I really put my viewpoint out there as to whether I think this is going to be gangbusters awesome or just hype. And, that's only going to come when I'm getting into the game and I'm getting involved with that type of gameplay, really. Whoa, Verp! Thank you, Verp. Putting that pledge down. Thank you, dude. Perfect way to end the video. Verp brought DiCaprio. And we know that means he pledged. He's going to be able to hear the podcast coming out on Saturday. This is the end of this video. We're done talking about New World. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the channel. Verp, thank you. The podcast is going to be available for $5 Patreon members and up, and it will cover Star Citizen content. It will cover new games. It'll cover in real life. First episode coming out Saturday for our Patreon members and our YouTube membership that pushes the join button. I appreciate you guys. 2 giveaways every single month. This month, shoosh, forget about it. It's awesome. Pisces C8X from Star Citizen. We're giving it away thanks to Daddy Cash and thanks to J-Dubs. What do we got, J-Dubs? We got something awesome? Let's just go. Let's just talk about it. Avenger Titan, nice first startup ship. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love you guys. And I will see you on the next vid. Boom. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. And these difficult times where independent content creation is under attack from the FTC and left to die by YouTube, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated. Thank you.